Okay, hello all. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Uh, so I'm starting with the discussion on Bode plot. Now, as per your request, I'll explain from scratch what the topic is all about. This is just a session for a trial session. If this works well, if you are able to understand it properly, then we will continue with this format. Otherwise, we will try to find out something else. Is that fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
What exactly are you seeing on your screen?
There is a PPT.
And do you see a window as well for the participants?
Yeah, and a group chat.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So I'm going to mute all of you. Okay, because at your ends, if you have some noise, it is disturbing for me. So I'm going to mute all of you. If you have any difficulty, there is hand raising option for you available for you. Can you see all of you?
Yes.
Can all of you hear me out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have hand raising facility at your end. If you have any
Yes.
difficulty, just stop me there. Or if you are not able to find it out, just write it in the group chat so that I can address your difficulty. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll start with Bode plot. It is basically a frequency plot which is plotted versus frequency, I mean against frequency. So there are two different plots in Bode plot. First plot is magnitude plot and another plot is called as phase plot. So we have here on the screen, you can see Bode plot, combination of two plots with magnitude. This plot will have magnitude versus frequency and phase plot will have phase versus frequency. Now in this magnitude as well as phase plot, we have a transfer function and we have different factors of the transfer function. We'll see on the next slides. So basically a magnitude plot and phase plot are addition of magnitude contributions by all the factors and addition of phase contributions by all the factors. So that makes it the whole Bode plot, what we can say. Okay. Okay. Now the factors of transfer function. So when I say that it is addition of all the contributions of magnitudes and phase, we need to understand what the factors of transfer function is. The example is given on the slide. GSHS is equal to 10 into S plus 1 upon S plus 10 into S plus 100. Now in the above example, the factors of transfer function are K equal to 10. This is a separate factor. First order 0, which is S plus 1. I hope all of you understand what is first order and what is second order now. When we have power of S as 1, then we can say that it is first order function, and power of S is equal to 2, then it is second order function. Now, in this example, we have 10 into S plus 1 upon S plus 10 into plus 100. Now in this case, what we have is k is a separate factor, s plus 1 is a separate factor which is known as a first order 0, and there are two first order poles, one is s plus 10 and another is s plus 100. Now what we were talking about, the contributions of each factor and then addition of them, is nothing but the whole Bode plot will be formed by magnitude contribution of this factor, this one and this one. Similarly, phase contributions of all these factors are taken into consideration for plotting the phase. Okay, I hope all of you are clear with this till this point. So all the above factors contribute in magnitude and phase of the transfer function separately. Now collection of all the contribution forms a Bode plot. Now in this case, if you go further, the scales used. Now what the scales used are, scales are nothing but scales on the x-axis as well as on the y-axis. So on the x-axis we have a frequency. Obviously there are two different plots, magnitude plot and phase plot. In both the cases, x-axis pe frequency hogi, that is logarithmic frequency. Now why are we using logarithmic scale on the x-axis? There are certain advantages. Those advantages are stated here on this slide. First advantage is frequency is expanded at origin. I'll explain what this is. Large span of frequencies can be covered and multiplication and division become addition and subtraction. I hope all of you are clear with the third point. Log of two numbers, if those two numbers are multiplied, then you can add logarithms of those two numbers. Instead of multiplication, you can add them. I hope this is clear with you. So multiplication becomes addition and division becomes subtraction in case of logarithms. So that makes it easier for the computations. First two advantages what we were talking about, large span of frequencies can be covered. Now on your scale, suppose now this is your semi-log paper, we call it as semi-log paper. On x-axis you have logarithmic scale and on y-axis you have linear. Now when we are talking about this logarithmic scale, this frequency is logarithmic frequency, right? So at one point the frequency is say 0.1. Then next we have 0.01. Then we have we have 1. Then we will have 10. Then we'll have 100, 1000. So in one semi-log paper, you can include all the frequencies from 0.1 to 1000 and beyond. You can consider this starting point as 0.0001 and then go on adding the frequencies, right? So because when we have, suppose we are using a linear scale and we are using a graph, normally a graph paper. So 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit, right? In this case, 1 unit would be 10 times whatever the starting point is. So that is why large span of frequencies can be covered. Instead of logarithmic scale, if you are using linear scale, then suppose 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, up to 1 you will be considering. But in semi-log paper where we have logarithmic scale on the x-axis, we can cover large span of frequencies starting from say 0.1 up to 1000, 10,000, whatever you like. Okay, so that is an advantage. And so frequencies are expanded at origin. That means instead of having 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, we directly have 0.1 and then we can have 1. In between we have sufficient space to plot the points, which we will not have if you have linear scale. Okay, so that those are the advantages of using logarithmic scale. Logarithmic scale is on x-axis, which is frequency. Linear scale on y-axis, which is or phase, depending on we are using magnitude plot or phase plot. So now Yes, all of you. Is this screen visible? I got a message that screen is not visible.
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Yeah, Ishita.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is this screen visible? Was it visible, the PPT?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
It might be the difficulty at your end. Check your internet connection. Rest everyone. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it was.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Deepa.
Screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible. I think the problem is with the internet connection only, because for some of you the screen is visible. Okay, what you can do is you can check your options on your screen. Okay. Can you see the start video, mute, all the options? Are the options on? Appropriate options?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'm going to put the screen back. Okay. Just check whether you can see the PPT or not. And just let me know in the chat section. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What about others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Have you understood what did I explain till now?
Yes.
I think Shivam,
Yeah.
you can check on your group, because I'm not getting responses from everyone. Deepa.
No, ma'am. Not clear. Audio is also interrupted.
What is interrupted?
Ma'am, on
Haripriya.
our WhatsApp group, there are messages like our means there are no sound coming or sound issues and screen is not visible. Like
I think that is the problem with the internet connection. I can't help it now. I mean, at their end, the internet connection must be,
yes,
I mean, sufficient bandwidth must be available.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
What are you seeing on your screen right now?
M means not
Okay.
PPT but audio.
No,
is
I'm not. I
clear.
have not put the PPT yet. But when I PPT just now, I had put. Did you see that?
I see PPT, but it is not clear. But after some time, means it get clear.
Okay.
So
Okay. I think that is all the issue is with the internet connection at your. Okay. So those who can see the PPT, let us continue. I think till now. Yeah. Till now, we have discussed about what the Bode plot is, the basics about the Bode plot, and the scales used and the factors of transfer function. Is that fine? Shall we proceed?
yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the magnitude and phase unit. Let me put the PPT back. Okay. So now we know that the Bode plot is combination of magnitude plot as well as phase plot. For that, we need to know how to calculate magnitude for each factor of the transfer function and phase for each factor of the transfer function. Okay. Now, just a minute. People are making noise. Let me mute them. Yeah. So, Yeah, so this is the formula for calculation of magnitude in dB. And this is the formula for phase in degrees. Please understand the units that are used are very important while plotting the Bode plot. Magnitude unit is dB, phase unit is degrees, and frequency unit is radians per second. And plus we have seen that this frequency is a logarithmic frequency on x-axis. In magnitude plot, you will plot magnitude in dB on y-axis, frequency on x-axis, and in phase plot, phase in degrees will be plotted on y-axis and frequency on x-axis. These are the formulae. Magnitude in dB is equal to 20 log magnitude of GSHS, and phase in degrees is equal to tan inverse of imaginary part of GSHS upon real part of GSHS. There is no change in this formula. We have been using this phase formula since long back. In root locus also we have used. This is equal to tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part. That's the simple formula. Magnitude formula, we need to calculate the magnitude of GSHS, and then we need to take logarithm of that and then multiply it with 20 to convert it into dB, because the unit that we are using for magnitude is dBs. Okay, so now we go to next slide. Yeah, so now these are the transfer functions. This is the example of transfer function. There are certain formats that you need to use for transfer function for sketching the Bode plot. Now in that case, transfer function must be converted to standard time constant form. This we have studied. Standard time constant form is K1 plus, sorry, this is my mistake, I'll correct it. This is not S by T1, this is S into T1, okay? This should be S into T2 and this should be S into T3. So you need to, when I share the PPT, I'll correct that and send it to you. So K into 1 plus ST1 upon 1 plus ST2 into 1 plus ST3, where T1, T2 time constants. Here, please understand that coefficient in your bracket must be 1. So if you have, say, S plus 3, then to make it in standard time constant form, you need to take this 3 common, and your standard time constant form would be 1 plus S by 3, where 3 is taken out, taken common, okay? And so 1 upon, when T1, T2, T3 are time constants, 1 upon T1, 1 upon T2, 1 upon T3 are frequencies. Reciprocal of time is equal to frequency. Now GSHS must be replaced with G of J omega into H of J omega. We substitute S is equal to J omega because we are not interested in the real part of S. We are interested in frequency part of S, imaginary part of S, because we are plotting frequency. Okay. So now what we have learned till now is, I'm just going to put all the slides back. Just let us revise what we did. Okay, so just a minute, let me erase this. Okay, so Bode plot is a combination of two plots, magnitude plot and phase plot. Both are plotted separately on the same paper. The paper is semi-log paper that we use. In semi-log paper, we partition into two parts. Upper part is used for magnitude plot, lower part is used for phase plot. Magnitude plot is magnitude versus frequency. Phase plot is phase versus frequency. And the complete Bode plot or the magnitude plot is addition of magnitude contribution by all the factors, and phase plot is addition of phase contribution by all the factors. Now the example was given. These are the factors of transfer function. Here 10, S plus 1, S plus 10, S plus 100 are separate factors of the transfer functions which will contribute separately while plotting the magnitude as well as phase. So magnitude plot will be magnitude contribution of this factor 10 plus magnitude contribution by this factor s plus 1 plus magnitude factor of this s plus 10 as well as for s plus 100. Same goes for phase. Now logarithmic scale is used on the x-axis. Advantages we have seen that multiplication and division becomes addition and subtraction. Large span of frequencies can be covered because on the x-axis we are using logarithmic scale, and logarithm can cover large span like starting from 0.1 to 100 or 1000. So these are the advantages of using logarithmic scale. Using logarithmic scale on x-axis and linear scale y-axis. Then the formulae that we are using are magnitude in dB. We are using magnitude in dB, by the way. Units are specified here on the screen. So in this, magnitude in dB is equal to 20 log of magnitude of GSHS. So instead of GSHS, we can call it as G of j omega into H of j omega, because we are only interested in frequency part of S, not the magnitude part, a real part rather. So why do we multiply it with 20? To convert any magnitude, any entity into dBs, we need to multiply it with 20 and take logarithm. So 20 log of magnitude j omega into H of j omega is the magnitude, and phase in degrees is tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part. This phase formula we have used multiple times. And finally, we have seen the transfer function must be converted to standard time constant form, and S should be replaced with j omega. Okay. Now,
लेक्चर चालू होतं माझं.
Anuja,
बोल.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Are you able to see the screen? Were you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Now all of you, I have unmuted all. You can tell me whether you have understood this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Yes,
of you?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think we can continue for 10 minutes and then we will stop because the limit is 40 minutes only. Okay. And then you let me know your feedback so that we can proceed with the next session. Now I'm going to share another screen where just now we have discussed, right, that all the factors contribute to the magnitude plot and phase plot. Now what those factors are, we have seen. One is open loop gain K. Then we have just a minute. We have open loop gain K. Then we have first order factor in the numerator. First order factor in the numerator means nothing but first order 0. First order factor in denominator is nothing but first order pole. We can have second order factor in numerator, which will be called as 2, or second order 0 in the numerator, and second order factor in denominator will be second order pole. So now what we are going to see, how the magnitude and phase contributions of each factor affect the Bode plot, or rather magnitude and phase plot. So let me put a screen where I think these notes are shared with you. If you have those notes in front of you, you can keep it. Otherwise, I'm sharing it on the screen. Okay. Now in this case, I'm just scrolling it up. Yeah. So now Bode plot for constant gain K. Now Bode plot for every factor separately we are going to see. We know the formula. Magnitude is 20 log of G of j omega H of j omega, and phase is tan inverse of imaginary part of G of j omega upon real part of G of j omega. Now same goes for, suppose your GSHS is equal to K, nothing else. Then G of omega will be K. G of j omega will be equal to K. And now magnitude would be 20 log of magnitude of g of j omega, which is nothing but k in this case. So magnitude would be 20 log of k. So this 20 log of k is the magnitude contribution of constant gain k. Okay. If you see the phase is nothing but tan inverse of imaginary part of k upon real part of k. But here in this case, there is no imaginary part, right? So, just a minute. Yeah. So, in this case, we do not have any imaginary part. So, we write 0 and real part is k. So, tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part is equal to 0 degrees. So, what does this tell you? That if your GSHS is equal to k, gain k, only open loop gain k, then its magnitude contribution is 20 log of k and phase contribution is 0. So that means your open loop gain k does not affect the phase plot. Open loop gain k will only affect the magnitude plot by the magnitude 20 log of k. Now let us proceed for another factor. Now if you consider another factor, Bode plot of poles at origin. Now if you have pole at origin, what the factor would be? G of s would be 1 upon s. Okay. Now in this case, s is replaced with j omega. So you have this 1 upon j omega. Okay. This can be written as minus j upon omega. That is equal to 0 minus j upon omega. This nothing but 1 upon j is converted to minus sign. I think all of you are well conversant with imaginary numbers. So 1 upon imaginary number is equal to minus of that imaginary number. So g of j omega is equal to 1 upon j omega. Now if you need to calculate the magnitude would be 20 log of magnitude of this minus j upon omega. What that magnitude is? Magnitude is calculated as under root of real part square plus imaginary part square, and which gives you this. And this 1 upon omega is nothing but, j upon omega is nothing but minus sign will be taken out and you will have 20 log of omega. So magnitude, total magnitude would be minus 20 log of omega. Here, let me introduce a concept. If your factor is in the denominator, your magnitude is going to be negative, because that 1 upon j is going to be minus j, and so your final magnitude is going to be in the denominator, and so it is going to have the negative sign. So if you have a factor g of s is equal to s instead of 1 upon s, the magnitude is going to be plus 20 log of omega. If the factor is 1 upon s in the denominator, then the magnitude is going to be minus 20 log of omega. Now this was all about the magnitude. Now let us go and see what the phase is. All this is same. Let me see the phase. Yeah. So this is the phase part. In this phase part, we have phase is equal to g of j omega is equal to minus j upon omega, and you have 1 upon omega. If you convert it into phase using a formula, tan inverse of imaginary part upon real part, for this particular one, this is going to be tan inverse of 0 upon 1. Okay, so tan inverse of 0, which is equal to 0. And in the denominator, you are going to have tan inverse of omega upon 0. So that is tan inverse of infinity. That is nothing but 90 degrees. But this angle, so this is 0 degree and this is 90 degree. To this being this in denominator, when it comes in numerator, it has negative sign, right? So g of j omega is equal to minus 90 degrees. Now always remember, pole at origin will have magnitude contribution at as minus 20 log of omega, and phase contribution as minus 90 degrees. Forget about this K here. What this K is nothing but N. Suppose you have two poles at origin. Instead of one pole, if you have two poles at origin, each pole is going to contribute minus 20 log of omega. So this is how you are going to get N into minus 20 log of omega. N times minus 20 log of omega. Okay. And that is why instead of K, you can use N because K might become confusing. Phase is nothing but each pole at origin is going to contribute minus 90 degree. If you have three poles, each pole will contribute minus 90 degrees. So minus 90 into 3. That is why it will become minus 270 degrees. So that is why it becomes magnitude is equal to minus 20 n if there are n poles at origin log of omega, and phase is equal to minus 90 into n. If you have a single pole, you will have minus 20 log of omega and minus 90 degrees. So this is the contribution of single pole at origin in the Bode plot. Similarly, if you have the 0 at origin, what you are going to get? Everything say similar but plus sign. Okay, so a single 0 at origin will contribute plus 20 log of omega for magnitude and plus 90 degrees for phase. Okay, is that clear now?
Yes.
Yes, all of you. I have unmuted you. You
Yes,
can
ma'am.
give
Yes, ma'am.
feedback.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we have done here is magnitude and phase contribution of constant K that we have seen, and magnitude and phase contribution of first order factor, pole and 0 at origin. Always remember, if you need to remember it mechanically, always remember if the factor is in the denominator, your magnitude and phase will have negative sign. If the factor is in the numerator, your magnitude and phase will have positive
Positives.
Positive.
sign. Is that clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will continue for some more time. I am just going to put it back. Now we are going to see factors, first order factor like s plus 1. Okay. Now suppose you have s plus 1. Suppose you have s plus 1. Sorry, pardon me. What happened? Now you have s plus 1 factor. You replace this s plus 1 s by j omega. So you are going to get j omega plus 1. And is this in the standard time constant form? Yes, because the coefficient that we have is 1. This particular format is known as standard time constant format. And if s plus 1 is in the numerator, you are going to call this first order factor in numerator. If suppose this is in denominator, then you are going to call this as first order factor in denominator. Now, the rule is same. If the factor is in the numerator, signs are positive. If the factors are in the denominator, signs are negative. But what the actual formula will be, let me put that back, screen back. Okay. Taking a bit time. Okay. So now let us scroll. Zeros at origin we have seen, right? We just have seen positive signs. Can you see this magnitude 20 log of omega, highlighted one, and phase will be plus 90 degrees. Okay, so zeros at origin will be similar to poles at origin with plus sign. Now, here, okay, first order factor. Now here, first order factor can be represented with the help of this equation. Now, if you have g of s is equal to 1 upon 1 plus st, s will replace j omega, and so 1 upon 1 plus j omega t. Now to calculate magnitude of this g of j omega, obviously this is going to be in the denominator. So 20 log is common for the magnitude calculations. 20 log of magnitude of g of j omega. This is magnitude of g of j omega. Numerator is going to be 1 because under root 1 square plus 0 square, that is 1, upon under root 1 square, that is 1, plus omega square t square. So this is going to be the magnitude. Now, if you need to take it in the numerator, you need to mark it with negative sign. So this is going to be minus 20 log of under root 1 plus omega square t square. Okay. Now here onwards, we are going to have an approximation. Suppose this value, omega square t square, suppose this value is less than 1. First case, this value is less than 1. What this is going to be? Minus 20 log of under root 1. Because that will be, this portion will be negligible with respect to 1. So we can completely neglect it and we will consider only 1. So under root of 1 is 1. Log of 1 is equal to 0, right? So minus 20 log of 1, that is minus 20 into 0, that gives you 0 dB. Okay, I'll tell you the significance of that a bit later. Let us just first see the mathematical part. Okay, now when you have, suppose now you have omega t greater than 1. Now, if you have omega t greater than 1, what are you going to have? These are the square terms. So if omega t is greater than 1, omega square t square will certainly be too large than 1. So in that case, now you can neglect 1 and you will get under root of omega square t square, which is nothing but under root of omega t. So minus 20 log of omega t. Okay. Now this is the formula that we will use for first order factor in the denominator. Okay. Now what the significance is, suppose omega t is less than 1. When omega t is less than 1, the magnitude is 0 dB. That means this particular factor doesn't contribute when omega t is less than 1. This factor will contribute when omega t is greater than 1. Okay. Now, see the example. We can see the example here. Yeah. Suppose your time constant, I'll give another example also. Suppose your time constant is 5. Sorry. Suppose your time constant is 5, say. Just a minute. Time constant t is equal to 5. What omega is going to be? 1 upon 5, right? 1 upon 5. So omega into t is equal to 1, right? When you multiply these two, omega t is going to be 1. So 1 is the threshold value. When omega t is less than 1, that means when t is 5, omega is going to be 1 by 5. When you multiply these two, you will get 1. So 1 is the threshold value. When omega t equal to 1 is the threshold. When omega t is less than 1, we saw on that screen that when omega t is less than 1, it contributes 0 dB. But when omega t is greater than 1, it contributes minus 20 log omega t. Okay. So this factor will not be contributing before omega t is equal to 1. Right? Now, what do you mean by omega t equal to 1? T is equal to, suppose we rewrite this equation. This equation will be t is equal to 1 upon omega, that we already know. So, or other way around, we can write omega is equal to 1 by. So in your transfer function, suppose if you have s plus a 5 and you take this 5 common, you get 1 plus s by 5 In this case, what t is equal to according to standard time constant form? T is equal to 1 by 5. And so omega is obviously equal to 5. What we can say using this formula, just now what we have seen is before frequency 5, this factor doesn't contribute at all. And after frequency 5, it contributes minus 20 log of omega t. In this case, omega t is equal to 1 when omega is 5 and t is equal to 1 by 5. So that is why this frequency, which is a threshold frequency, before which this factor doesn't contribute, is known as a corner frequency. This frequency can be 5, 10, 2, 3, whatever, depending on the factor given in the transfer function. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So now let us go back to the screen. This is the formula, corner frequency, what I was talking about. Okay. Now, always remember, this is an approximation, right? Because we have made this approximation, omega t less than 1, omega t greater than 1. When omega t will be greater than or less than 1, we have a threshold omega t equal to 1. Suppose now if t is equal to 1 by 5, omega will be equal to 5. If t is equal to 1 by 1000, omega will be equal to 1000. So what we can say, the frequency at which omega t becomes 1 is known as corner frequency, and at the corner frequency there is a threshold. Before corner frequency, that particular factor doesn't contribute 0 dB, and after that it contributes minus 20 log of omega t. Now see the this is all what we discussed just now. Phase of that. Phase is quite easy. This is the factor that we were talking about. Phase will be tan inverse of omega t. Now it will be omega t. Again, the approximation comes into picture. So before that corner frequency, it contributes 0. After the corner frequency, it contributes minus tan inverse of omega t. Why minus? Because the factor is in the denominator. Now suppose if I tell you first order factor in numerator. Same thing, similar equations but with plus sign. Explanation is also same. Angle will be plus tan inverse of omega t, and magnitude contribution will be 20 log of omega t after omega. Okay, before that omega, it doesn't contribute anything, and so that is why that frequency is known as corner frequency. Okay, so now same here, I'm scrolling it up because we have just now discussed. Magnitude will be plus 20 log omega t, and phase will be plus 20 log of tan inverse of omega t. Now this is the table which you can refer for the factors just now what we have discussed about. Okay, this problem later on we will see, it doesn't matter. Now we have covered the point till which we can, up to which we can at least understand what the Bode plot is. Just a minute. Okay, so now till now what we have discussed is transfer function is collection of all the various factors. Each factor contributes to magnitude as well as phase, and addition of all contributions from all the factors makes a magnitude plot, and addition of all the factors phase contributions of all the factors makes a phase plot. So we have two different separate plots, and now we have seen how each factor contributes to the magnitude as well as to the phase. Okay, so now that's all for this particular session. Let us just decide on the group, you decide, and Shivam will convey it to me that at what time you would like to have another session. I am ready after 3 o'clock. Okay, anytime after 3 o'clock, you can tell me, we can have 45-minute session. And in that session, now directly we will go to a problem. By the time, you can just take a look in the book if you have, or the notes which are in front of you. If you have any doubt, please convey it to me on WhatsApp. I'll explain the doubt in the next session directly. If multiple people have same doubt, then that can be clarified in the next session. I'm unmuting all. You can give your feedbacks now.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you understood what we have discussed till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now the theory part, what you should be clear to you is given in the Bode plot. Bode plot PPT is there. I don't think there is any need to share, but anyway, I'll share it later on. PPT has only, I have just created a PPT just to show it to you. So PPT will give you the basic idea, and the notes that are given to you has the complete description of what we have just now discussed. You might not have understood it completely, I understand, but when we solve the problem, that time you surely will understand. And as for the problem, what I'm going to do, I'm going to solve a problem with my hand. I'll take a photo of that and I'll share that screen with you, so that step by step we can understand exactly what we are doing. One more request, for the next session onwards, please keep your calculators with you. Okay, so as when I explain something to you, you can just right away calculate it on your calculators and check whatever I have written is right or wrong. You can verify that. Okay, but till now, is it clear that how factors are contributing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
only one thing, only
Yes,
one
ma'am.
I would like to ask, the last part, the approximation wala part, which I have explained, is that clear to you? Omega t less than 1, omega t greater than 1, it might not be clear to everyone, I understand, but while solving the problem, we will realize exactly what happens. I'll just brief you about that point. Suppose if you have a corner frequency of 5, your equation is in the standard time constant form, right? So you have time constant. If you have time constant, you can calculate frequency also. Reciprocal of that time constant is equal to frequency. What that frequency indicates, it is a frequency before which that factor is not active. That factor is inactive. It is not contributing to the magnitude as well as phase plot when before that frequency. Once that after that frequency in the frequency plot, that factor starts contributing, right? So as an example, if I tell you, just last 2 minutes now. Okay, so now suppose if you have 3 frequencies, suppose if you have 3 frequencies, 1, 3 and 5. So the factor that you have, you will forget about the factors right now. We have 3 different frequencies because time constants were 1, 1 by 3 and 1 by 5. So frequencies that we calculated is reciprocal of the time constant, that is 1, 3 and 5. Now what do I mean by factor contribution? Up to frequency 1, okay, no factor is contributing. Okay, at frequency 1, this particular factor will start contributing. These 2 factors are still inactive. At frequency 3, this one and this one both are contributing, because this starts contributing at 3, right? And so
Yeah.
the magnitude plot will be addition of magnitudes of these 2 factors, contributions. Okay, same goes for phase. Till 5, this continues. At 5, this will also come into picture, and all 3 factors will start contributing in the magnitude as well as in phase. Suppose if next corner frequency is say 101. So up to from 5 to 101, only these 3 factors will contribute. This factor will not contribute. This factor will contribute only when the frequency is 101. After 101, all 4 will together contribute. Is that clear now? Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now let us stop here. Okay. You can have the session after 3. You just the next session is anyways arranged at 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock would also be fine. We again will have a 45-minute session. I'll find out the better way to represent a particular problem or something in PPT also I can prepare. But just let me know which part you have not understood or which part you need more information on. Once we solve one problem, it should be easier for you. Keep your calculators with you. Keep your notes in front of you. Okay. So that's all. You can leave the meeting now. Shivam, please give me the feedback in some time on WhatsApp.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
You all can leave the meeting now.